Good morning. Hope you guys are feeling refreshed and maybe renewed, reset, hopeful. It's a new day. And I heard God's mercies are new every morning, aren't they? So this week we're starting a series on the Beatitudes. And I thought, what better way to start than with the introduction to Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, which is in Matthew chapter 5, and it is the 8 blessings that Jesus lists off. And they're incredible. And the first one we're going to start with is in Matthew chapter 5:3, which says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." And as I was preparing the sermon this week, it reminded me of an incident that happened the week before. We were at home. We were in quarantine mode. We were waiting for COVID test results for Chrissy because we thought maybe she had it. Thank God they were negative. But while we were at home, the girls were prepping these amazing cakes that were skinny and tall, like 4 layers of like inch thick cake with icing. And Chrissy asked me if I could cut some dowel rods for them. So I got out a Dremel toolkit and just kind of ground off some of the dowel rod and gave it back to him. And I was like, yes, I love to be able to help in some sort of way. I was feeling good that I could help them get those set up. And while I was headed toward the basement to put away the Dremel toolkit, I wasn't really paying good attention. It was kind of like you get in autopilot mode when you're walking through your own house. And when I reached the stairs, I actually missed it. I missed the first stair and I tripped and I actually threw the Dremel toolkit right in front of me as I was falling, not backward, which would be maybe a more common way for me to fall if I have. I fell forward. And as I fell forward, I braced myself with my arm, which you can actually see the remnants of that experience, bounced off the second to last step, hit my feet too, and my feet had bruising on it, and I ended up kind of like splat right on the basement floor. I laid there for a split second and it hurt so bad. It was like I just got hit by a bus. My body hurt so bad. And I came back upstairs and Chrissy and the girls were shocked. I mean, they didn't know what had happened. I said, I did fall. I fell. And I came upstairs and something with my body, the way I react sometimes to that kind of pain is like a shock, but it caused me to be nauseous. So I sat on the couch for like 10 minutes while I kind of calmed down and settled down. And I thought, maybe I actually broke my forearm. I was a little concerned about that, but thankfully I didn't. And it's been 5 or 6 days since then, and I'm healing up well. But it definitely took its toll on me for the last week. I've been feeling pretty horrible. A little reflection on that incident, and I realized I kind of took for granted my ability to navigate stairs without actually paying attention to what I was doing. Ever since I've been focusing, as you go down the stairs, I'm focusing on every single step because I do not want that to happen again. We all have moments that humble us, right? I get it. I'm not invincible. I need a little help being reminded of it. But, I don't really want it to always hurt that much. That's not the type of reminder I want, but that's what I got. In the first Beatitude, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Jesus sends a little reminder that we are actually blessed when we realize our need for help. So what is poor in spirit? What does it even mean? Well, I met with some others this week via Zoom, and we did one of our sermon notes sessions and collaborated with each other. And Jerry Bader told me this amazing modern parable. A couple had a wealthy friend who they invited over for dinner. When the man arrived, they noticed his car was probably worth more than their house. As he walked toward the door, he stooped down, picked up a penny, and put it in his pocket. The couple had seen him do this a few times before, and when they sat down for dinner, they asked him, "You're so well off. Why do you always pick up coins when you see them?" And he responded by reaching into his pocket and pointing to the words that are inscribed right above Abraham Lincoln's head. I may be financially well off, he said, but when I see a coin, I pick it up and am reminded of my need for help as I read, "In God we trust." See, being poor in spirit is being aware of our need for help. This wasn't a commandment because it's too impossible for humanity on their own, but instead a reminder. Blessed are those who recognize that they are poor in spirit. Blessed are those who recognize that they are poor in spirit. Accepting our frail humanity, right? The Amplified Bible says this in James 4:14, and I think it's a great example of what it looks like to recognize that we need help. Yet, you do not know the least thing about what may happen in your life tomorrow. What is secure in your life? You are merely a vapor, like a puff or smoke, or a wisp of steam from a cooking pot that is visible for a little while and then vanishes into thin air. We are only poor in spirit when we are aware. Awareness is the key to the kingdom of heaven on earth. Awareness. Before we purchased a van, we have a Chrysler Town and Country, but we never realized or saw a lot of silver Chrysler Town and Countries before that. And this is a familiar phenomenon, and it began where we started to see them everywhere. Do you know what I'm talking about? When you buy something, or maybe you see a commercial, something you've never seen before, and then all of a sudden you see it everywhere. Why are we all of a sudden seeing all of these silver Town and Countries? Why is that happening? Well, as you probably already know and have experienced for yourself, we didn't go looking for silver Town and Country vans, but they just seemed to keep showing up, and they were always there. That's what the key was. They were always there. We just didn't have reason to take notice. Our girls call them van twins. So like every time they see a silver Town and Country, they say, there's a van twin. So we know what that's like. And awareness is the key to our wholeness. And the Hebrew word being shalom. Awareness is the key to the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Blessed are those who are aware of their need for help, for theirs is the kingdom. And in that awareness, we don't find the penny finds us. In that sacred hymn, Amazing Grace, we learn the story of a slave trader, John Newton, a man who was spiritually blind but found sight. And we were talking about it in our Zoom session this week, and Cindy Manti responded with the lyrics, "I once was lost, but now I'm found." And my jaw dropped. For the first time after hearing those lyrics, it was different. Something was different about it. John Newton was lost. He didn't find his own way. He was found. I was lost, but now I'm found. John Newton was lost, but he didn't find his own way. The way found him. I was found. And Newton's sudden awareness of his spiritual depravity, God made him whole. Awareness. God made him rich for the first time in his life, but not with possessions that are merely a vapor that vanishes into thin air. Instead, with a poorness of spirit. His was the kingdom of heaven on earth. You might be searching for purpose and meaning in your life today. Aren't we all in some way, shape, or form? Maybe you're trying to find your way. It's like the words on the side mirror of a car. God, is closer than God appears. God is closer than God appears. If you are poor in spirit, wholeness will find you. If you are poor in spirit, shalom, completeness will find you. And I want to finish off with a bit of an adaptation of a prayer I found, which is completely anonymous. I want to close with this. Dear Lord, I try so hard to be self-sufficient, to be rich in spirit, but ultimately my efforts to rely on myself fail. By your grace, I realize just how much I need you. So I come to you fully aware, not full of riches or full of myself, but empty, needy, truly poor in spirit. And you meet me in my poverty. You not only meet my needs, but you pour out blessings upon me. You take my poverty of spirit and give back the riches of your spirit. You uphold me when I'm weak. You comfort me when I'm afraid. You make your kingdom available to me, graciously bringing me into your wholeness, your shalom. All praise, all glory be to you, dear God, because you invite those who are needy into your kingdom so that you might bless them with your inexhaustible riches. Amen.